Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're gonna have a look at the Namisu Ixion Titanium Pocket, a short pen with a long name. This is what the packaging looks like. There is a cardboard box inside a paper sleeve, and inside this black cardboard box there is a pen between some foam. It's fairly minimalistic, but it protects the pen very well, so no complaints. Let's look at the pen. This colorway is called Petrol. The pen is made out of PVD coated grade 5 titanium. On top we see a finial with Namisu Ixion TI engraved. I think that overall this finial could be slightly better integrated into the cap, but that's one of the very few build complaints. The cap is fairly long and it has 10 facets, which work very well with this kind of finish. The clip is held by two hexagonal screws that are nicely color matched with the rest of the pen, and it's very functional and quite good looking. I have really no complaints about the clip. The cap tapers up slightly towards the body, and then we see the body with no finial, and the entire pen body is machined out of a single piece of titanium. The cap unscrews in 1.25 of rotations, which gives us access to the fine number 6 sized Bock nib. The only unfortunate thing about these Bock nibs is that there is no size marking on the nib itself. I had to check my order information to make sure that this is indeed a fine nib. And there we see a standard plastic Bock feed. The entire nib assembly easily unscrews from the pen, so you can swap the nibs very easily. Unscrewing the barrel, we see PVD coated threads, and inside the barrel there is just machined titanium. The pen takes a standard international cartridge and probably the small Kaweco converter, but I'm sticking to cartridges. What's interesting about the build of this pen is that once you unscrew the nib assembly from the section, you can easily pull out the whole nib assembly with the cartridge. Inside of the section is just a hole with some threads for the nib assembly. The section has small flaring at the bottom. On the narrowest point it's 9 mm wide, then tapers up to 10 mm. I wish it were a bit wider. I think it would look better with the number 6 size nib and would also be a bit more comfortable. The cap posts quite deeply and securely, so absolutely no issues with posting this pen. What's interesting about the cap is that there is a plastic liner going almost through the whole cap. In this plastic liner there are also threads where the pen body screws on. What you most likely won't be able to see is that inside there is a screw that likely holds the finial. I'm generally not a fan of plastic threads going inside metal threads, so you have to be careful not to cross-thread this pen. But I think the plastic liner is designed quite well. When you are unscrewing the cap, it requires a little bit of force at the beginning and then continues smoothly. And this plastic liner also prevents the body from scratching as you post the pen. And you really have to use this pen post-it because otherwise it's way too small. 12.2 centimeters when capped, quite similar to some other pocket pens like the Kaweco Sport or the Gravitas Pocket Carbon, slightly smaller than the Opus 88 Mini. And here is Alami Safari just for the size comparison. 12.9 centimeters when posted, very similar to the Kaweco Sport, slightly shorter than the Gravitas Pocket and the Opus 88 Mini. Not that different from an unposted Lamy Safari. 23 grams, including a cartridge. That's a very comfortable weight, especially for a metal pen. Okay, let's have a look how it writes. So the pen is Namisu Ixion Pocket Titanium. This is the fine nib, and the ink is Monteverde Black. This nib has a tiny bit of feedback. It's quite pleasant to use. It was quite well aligned out of the box. No scratching whatsoever. Let's have a look at hard starts. No issues in any direction. Regarding wetness, it's pretty much perfect. As for horizontal and vertical stroke variation, not much to talk about. When it comes to flex, this is a little bit more softer nib than a Yowo nib. It has a tiny bit of bounce, which is quite pleasant. Reverse works super well, and you get a truly extra fine line out of it. Overall, this fine nib is really a joy to write with. Ergonomically, I wish the section was a little bit wider, but apart from that, I have no complaints. These threads on the body aren't sharp at all, and this transition, I'm not really touching it. I also ordered a broad nib. As you could see, the nibs are really easy to swap, which is great. Unfortunately, I'm not as happy with the broad nib as with the fine one. This nib has an issue. It does not really write without putting pressure on it. So this is no pressure, and this is a little bit pressure. I inspected the nib, and I think the main issue is that the tines are too tight. I couldn't find any baby's bottom under a loop, so let's quickly try to bend it a little bit, just so we can see that it's just the tines or if it's really a baby's bottom. So I continued off camera for a minute, and I think now the nib should be fine. So let's try it. Okay, no hard starts, and maybe in this direction there is still something, but the nib now writes. Let's check horizontal vertical variation. There is some, which is great. Let's check the wetness. This is fine. Let's check for flex. And there is still a little bit of bounce. Reverse. Works. This is a little bit scratchy. I think that I might have misaligned the tines a little bit, so I will fix that later. So with the broad nip, I wasn't as lucky as with the fine one. I think Bock as a manufacturer has some issues with consistency, just as Yovo. If you are not sure how to fix issues on the nips, then for sure use the warranty. But I'm quite adventurous and I wanted to know if this was a baby's bottom issue or just the tines being too tight. And luckily, I think the main issue were the tines. Overall, I'm still very happy with the pen. 56 euros plus 5 for shipping and 10 for the additional nib is really a great price for a titanium PVD coated pen with a number 6 bog nib. My only issue with the looks is that the finial could have been slightly more nicely integrated, but despite that, I really like the way the pen looks. Build quality wise, I have absolutely no complaints. Even the strange full insert in the cap works very well. I left the pen capped for about 3 days and it wrote perfectly. There are no issues with the pen drying out. Ergonomically, I wish the section was slightly wider, but the pen is comfortable enough for me. The fine nib works really great. The broad, again, I had some issues, but I believe that Namisu would cover that under warranty, and for me, I could fix it. Despite the issues with the broad nib, I'm really happy with the pen. What might be an issue for some is Namisu's Kickstarter-based business model. Ideally, you have to order a pen a couple months in advance. On the flip side, they allow you to customize the pen a little bit. Not only they have different nib sizes available and you can get spare nibs at a pretty good price from them, but you can also pick a clip in a different finish or add additional clips to your order. I will probably get another pen from Namisu again in the future. This time I hope for a full-sized model, preferably in titanium. I love how this finish feels in my hand. That's all for today. Any questions, comments, leave them down below and I'll see you next time. Bye!